Magic and Machines by developer Little Bear Studios is described as a retro fantasy RPG with turn-based battles, puzzles, and 6 unique characters. It's perfect for players who grew up with the turn-based RPGs and are looking for a new adventure, and also accessible for new players as it doesn't take itself too seriously. Now, I'd have to say the doesn't take itself too seriously, and for the players who grew up playing turn-based RPGs, is a pretty spot-on description. This is definitely for the gamers that enjoy retro-style games, as that is the main draw to this one. You're not getting a ton with the world building here, or really even much in the way of characters setting themselves apart from the other characters. However, you get a decent array of weapons and attacks. I certainly was a fan of the override mechanic during combat, especially with it being available for all of your attacks. I mean, you want to talk about turning a fight in your favor in a hurry, this mechanic will do it. Magic and Machines does this surprisingly well though, and I even like the fact that matching equipment together gives you a boost in your stats. I didn't notice early on if it made that much of a difference, but I did notice later on in the game that it did help out quite a bit. Combat, of course, is turn-based and very easy to figure out. There are basic melee attacks and magic attacks, and of course you have enemies that are vulnerable to certain attacks and strong against others. You know, kind of how it should be, right? This gets very important later in the game as the difficulty level spikes at a certain point, and you'll probably have to grind out a few levels at this point in the game. Trust me, I ran into that wall and I was a little shocked with how bad I was getting destroyed by enemies. And don't worry though, because you grind out some levels and before you know it, you'll be breezing right through the rest of the game. I mean, seriously, really. Once you get to a certain point, you become kind of a tad bit overpowered. And, I mean, get this. Your companions that are riding the bench for you, yeah, they'll start leveling up slowly as well, you know, without even having to fight. They get XP as you get XP. This would actually be a great thing, and you know, it would be more of an incentive to use your characters in this way if you could like switch them out during combat. I mean, that would actually make more sense, and it would actually be useful as well. Overall, the game design is decent, with a fair amount of new areas to roam around, but far too often you run into basically like empty rooms and such. It would be nice if you entered somewhere and instead of, you know, once again being in a dead end, perhaps this time it led you to, you know, something like a shiny new weapon or something. I don't know. Unfortunately, that isn't the case. You know, oh well. The variety of enemies and the way they keep using their shield buffs isn't like top-notch gameplay, but it kept me entertained enough throughout my 7-ish hours of playthrough. You can probably beat this in less time, but I did a lot of backtracking in the game, you know, just kind of looking for stuff. It wasn't necessary, and honestly not really sure why I did a lot of it, but I just did. The game offers partial controller support on Steam, and look, this didn't bother me all that much, but you know, I played it with my controller and used my mouse and keyboard when I needed to. It was no big deal, but full controller support, you know, kind of probably maybe should have been implemented in this game. Magic and Machines is a game for players wanting to take a sort of nostalgia trip, I guess to say. It doesn't have any like wow factors, and you know, and that's okay. I mean, they tell you up front that they don't take it seriously. So, I mean, I honestly enjoyed the game, and even though the story was, you know, it was lacking and a little all over the place, you know, I didn't really care about it because, you know, well, at the end I was enjoying myself. Sometimes it's nice to just have fun and play a game that isn't going to make my head hurt from all the complex mechanics or the crazy puzzles that you have to solve. It also doesn't hurt that I thoroughly enjoy these types of games. So, would I recommend this game to a friend? Well, yes and no. Yes, if that friend is big into retro games with turn-based mechanics. No, if that friend is not into those type of games. So ultimately, you have to decide which category you fall into. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up. And I enjoyed Magic and Machines quite a bit, but again, I enjoy these types of games. I love turn-based combat games like this, and I'm actually playing one right now. So, I mean, this is something that I enjoy. So if you enjoy these type of games, I would say, yeah, this is, check it out. This might be something that you enjoy as well. If that's not something that you're into, retro style games and turn-based combat, then this game is just not going to be for you. There's no appeal to it whatsoever outside of that. But yeah, I did enjoy it, and I had a good time playing it. Took me a lot longer than it probably should have to beat it, but I mean, I like to slow play some of these games, build my characters up, and get them as strong as possible. By the end, I was just completely obliterating everything that I come across, so that was kind of fun. But yeah, thank you again for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one.